P-A-S-C-A-L. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Get on in here, guys. We got something that's very serious going on right now as we speak. It happened overnight, which is crazy. But again, we definitely need to talk about this, and we need to bring some awareness to this situation. So definitely come on in here. Come on in here. The crimes keep on criming. The insanity still continues to be at an all-time high. All right. And hopefully you guys are all doing well out here. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. All right. For real. We got to remember that even more now more than ever nowadays, because there's just been a lot of craziness going on everywhere around the world. Okay. But I wanted to give you guys this situation, this update that's going on right now. We have a man on the loose, an assailant on the loose right now due to something that happened late last night, early this morning, however you want to see this here. Again, this is why the reasons why that we are on a little bit earlier than usual, so I could give you guys this specific update, this specific situation. All right. And this man, like I said, this man is on the loose. A manhunt is underway trying to find this assailant. So before we get into everything, please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. All right. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. Okay. If you are watching on those other platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, let's not forget. Hit that follow button. Hit that subscribe button here on my main channel, here on YouTube. Go over to my secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips. I cover a lot of things over there that I'm not covering here on this main channel, and vice versa. So make sure you're subscribed to both channels, please, and thank you, okay? Make sure those notification bells are set to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random. A lot of times it's breaking news stuff. All right. So make sure you do that as well. All right. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check that join button out, please. And thank you. Check out that Patreon. Check out that Locals. And of course, do not forget to check out PascalMerch.com. OK, I got some really great stuff over there, and I'm sure you're going to find something over there that you're going to absolutely love. OK, guys, we have got to get into this conversation. There's a lot that happened last night. And there is still a lot of madness going on as we speak. There was a mass tragedy, okay, or mass tragedy. I'll just say that, where an assailant went into a cosmetics warehouse, opened fire, injuring 5 and taking the life of 1 individual. Now, this particular person did this and then took off. There is a manhunt right now underway trying to find this particular individual right now. His name is Bruce Reginald Foster. Okay, Bruce Reginald Foster II, if I'm correct. Police are trying to get their hands on this man right now as we speak. Allegedly, they believe this is the man that walked into the warehouse, opened fire, and then, of course, took off running. Now, it is still very, very early in the morning. I mean, of course, this happened in New Albany. So again, of course, they're a little bit ahead of me. So hopefully it's the 3rd. Thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you, Dom. Okay, but Bruce Reginald Foster III, okay? He is out on the loose. He did this. Well, they believe that he did this, and then he took off, all right? So now this man is on the run. He is on the loose. This suspect, this assailant is on the loose, and they're trying to get him right now as we speak. Now, here's the thing. Of course, there's a few articles because it's slowly starting to trickle out here. People talking about this situation, of course. Again, no one knows where this. Okay, now no one knows where this man is right now. Okay, but this kind of gives us more of what's going on here. So let's take a look at this article here. There's some news clips that we're going to be looking at as well. Just a fair warning to everybody who's watching on TikTok. If you can't, you won't be able to see the video on TikTok. So, I'll explain everything as we go through all of this stuff as well. But please, guys, do not forget to hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. All right. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that follow button. And let's get into this article. Okay. Manhunt underway after one person is unalived, 5 are injured in this mass tragedy at an Ohio warehouse. Okay. Now, the suspect has been identified in the incident, which, of course, happened late last night, okay, or early this morning, however you see that time, okay? So let's get into this. One person has been unalived, 5 have been injured in this particular tragedy in Ohio. Police are on the lookout for suspect Bruce Reginald Foster III in connection to this tragedy at a manufacturing facility on Smith's Mill Road in New Albany that occurred around 10:30 p.m. local time on Tuesday, last night. Okay, and this is what the New Albany Police Department announced in a news release. The NAPD responded to reports of an active mobster. We got to use these code words, unfortunately, at KDC 1 in the 8,000 block of Smith's Mill Road. Okay, this is what the police said. They confirmed that one victim passed away at the scene inside the building, per the release. A photo of the suspect, Foster, was shared in the release. He's described by police as having brown hair. Not brown hair, but okay. That's black hair. All right. But moving on, I'll just say it, black hair and brown eyes, and is 6 feet tall and is 175 pounds. The 5 injured victims were transported to local hospitals following the incident. Their conditions are unknown at this time. According to the police, 150 employees at the warehouse where this tragedy took place were safely evacuated, which is obviously good news. And, as many people as you can keep safe and get away from this situation, the better, right? According to, NAPD Chief Jones said in a news conference, the suspect we had learned had left the building or left the area before our arrival. We quickly evacuated approximately 150 other employees to a neighboring building. Foster is believed to have been working at the facility at the time of this tragedy. He had been working there, quote unquote, for some time and was at the building several hours before the tragedy happened. So, yeah, I think that's safe to believe that he possibly did this while he was on the job. Or what's the full story here? Did he maybe get fired and then that got him in his feelings? I don't know, right? It's interesting, right? Nonetheless, all of this is pretty crazy, right? So it does make you wonder, what was it that got this guy to go out to his car or whatever, if this weapon was on him, on his person at that time, whatever it may be, what was it that caused him to do what he did? Did he get fired on the job that day? Did he have a bad altercation with somebody at the job and it obviously took him over the edge? I don't know. But it's very interesting that he was working at the facility. He was there for several hours before this actual tragedy ensued. Okay. A motive for this actual tragedy has not been determined at this point, nor any confrontation or dispute that might have led to this incident. There you go. So they're saying that this just happened out of nowhere. And of course, the only person that would know, okay, The only person that would know why this happened is him. He's the only person that would know why this happened. This guy alone. And of course, we don't know what's going on, right? We're still trying to figure out and find out what the hell is going on.
Police in Ohio are zeroing in on the person who may have shot 6 people, killing 1 at a warehouse.
It happened late last night at the Cosmetics facility in New Albany, just outside of Columbus. 150 people were evacuated from the building and a gun was found there. 1 victim died in the warehouse. 5 others were hospitalized. Investigators believe it was a targeted attack and that they know where a person of interest is right now.
So again, they say that this was a targeted attack and they know where this, so then if they know where he is, where he at then? Where he at then? That's all I'm saying. Okay. The chief confirmed at the news conference that 1 weapon, a handgun, was recovered at the scene and that police are currently visiting certain local addresses to try to find this particular suspect. The deceased victim was not local to New Albany, the chief reports. They also said in the statement, this is a heartbreaking and tragic situation. Our officers, alongside multiple agencies, responded swiftly to protect lives and secure the scene. We trained for situations like this, and while it is something no community, ever wants to face, we were prepared to act quickly and effectively. We will continue working to bring this situation to a full resolution. And of course, they reached out to NAPD for comment and have heard nothing so far of that. But here's the thing, have heard nothing so far yet. But here's the thing. This is the guy right here, okay? Bruce Reginald Foster III, all right? He walked into work. He was there for several hours. Then he walked out to his car and then did this thing, right? Did this unthinkable thing. Then he took off. The question still remains. Why did he do what he did, right? He had a weapon on him. He had a pew-pew on him. A hand pew-pew. Code words, guys. It's annoying. But he had a hand pew-pew on him. And then, of course, he opened fire on his other coworkers. And so again, it makes you wonder what happened that made him feel this type of way to the point where he opened fire on his coworkers at this warehouse. It's terrible. But real quick, Bonnie, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And just like Bonnie, consider becoming a member by hitting that join button down below. All right. But we got a couple other things that we're going to be looking at here in regards to this, because obviously there's a lot that I'm curious about. I'm trying to figure it out. Of course, this guy is on the run. No one knows where he is. They're searching local addresses, but if he has a brain, he's not going to be at these locations. He's probably trying to leave town. He's probably gone. He's probably outside of town. If he was able to get out of town, he'd be trying to get out of town for sure, right? All right. So again, pretty insane stuff, right? Hold on one second. Okay. So let's take a look at this. This is from Fox. They have some updates and coverage on this. And I know guys on TikTok, you're not going to be able to see this. But I will be giving you guys like breakdowns of all this. Okay. Just fair warning. All right. And yeah, hit that like button down below. Don't forget to hit that reaction button. I also do have those roses for all you guys that are watching on TikTok. If you can do that, that'd be greatly appreciated. Let's rock and roll.
Waking up with us here on Live Now from Fox, I'm Gina Francine here with you on this Wednesday morning. It is February 5th. And as we come on the air, we are following breaking news from overnight. I want you to take a good look at your screen. Tragic news, which takes us out to New Albany, Ohio. It's being reported one person is dead and 5 others wounded after a shooting at a cosmetics warehouse there in Ohio. Police in the city of New Albany responding to an active shooter situation Tuesday night with, quote, multiple victims. The New Albany Police Department says 5 people were taken to a hospital. Police continued their search this morning for a person of interest and say the shooting appears to be targeted. Police say they do not have a motive for the shooting.
Now, they say that this situation, this pulling of the trigger, okay, for lack of a better term, they say that this was targeted, okay? So then what happened here? If it was targeted, is the person who lost their life the target? That's the thing I'm kind of curious about. What was it that got him so mad that he said, I am going to go and attack this particular or these particular people? How do they know that this was a targeted attack? Remember, I mean, sure, he does this one thing at this place. That could just be a targeted attack. Like he only wanted to attack the people at his work. That's possible. But at the same time, though, how do they know? Did he leave something behind, a manifesto, some sort of writing, some sort of note saying, I wanted to attack these people? No, because we would have heard about that by now. We would have read that there was a note left behind or some sort of sign, some sort of symbol, something to give us the idea that this was an actual targeted attack. So again, I'm wondering what's up with that. Now, for those of y'all who are wondering, where did this happen? What's going on? For those of y'all who are late to the party right now, okay, good morning to every single last one of y'all. I appreciate you guys for being here. This happened in New Albany, Ohio, all right? This happened at a warehouse, a cosmetic manufacturing factory, manufacturing warehouse in New Albany, Ohio. This man was working, this man by the name of Bruce Reginald Foster the third. He was working at this warehouse. Apparently, he was there for several hours. Then he left. I'm assuming he left to go to his car, get the weapon, or maybe the weapon was on him this entire time. Then he walked back in, and then of course, tragedy ensued. This man right now, this Foster, his last name's Foster, he is now on the run. Okay? Bruce Foster is now on the run. They don't know where he is right now. Of course, I'm sure that this situation will be solved before the end of day today. That's what I'm hoping for. But they believe that this whole thing was targeted. And I'd like to know why they believe this whole thing was targeted. Who is the employee that lost their life? Who are the other 5 that were injured? Because in my mind, I'm going, okay, what was the one that perished? Is that his boss? Is it one of his managers, somebody who's above him or something like that? It does make you wonder what's up with this, right? It does make you wonder what's going on. But again, this mass tragedy happened at a warehouse, a cosmetic warehouse in New Albany, Ohio, at late last night. Okay? Very, very late last night. But something's up with this. Something's up. And hopefully we get down to the bottom of it. But it's not like he left a manifesto. It's not like he left a note saying, oh, I did this and I hope that, you know what I mean? He didn't do that from what we're gathering so far. He did what he did, and then he kicked rocks, y'all. He kicked rocks. So hopefully We'll find out more information. Yes, police did do a press conference, which we will be checking out in just a little bit. But let's take a look at this video. I know you guys aren't going to be able to hear this. I will explain everything in just a minute. Okay, TikTok?
Take a listen.
We're ready. Okay. My name is Greg Jones, the Chief of Police in New Albany, Ohio. This has been a very tragic situation. Our thoughts go out to the victims, their families, and everybody that works at this facility. This is something that we hope that would never happen in our community, but we prepare for it, and this is where we are now. To give you a little bit of background, it's a large building, and that at this point, we have 1 confirmed fatality. We have 5 that were transported to the hospital. Their conditions, I'm not able to comment on their conditions at this point. We have a person of interest, and we are working to locate them and bring them into custody. And again, this is quite a tragedy, and it's really a fluid situation and the investigation's really just begun.
Is the person an interested employee?
I can't really comment at this point on that.
You said 5 people transported. Did that include the person who passed away?
No.
So 6 people with
6
gunshot
total.
wounds?
6
With
total.
gunshot wounds?
Yes.
Okay, one of those.
Yeah, and again, this is fluid, this is very preliminary information, so some of it might change as we learn more, obviously. Again, it's a very large building, and we've just begun to really start the investigation.
Is the person who died an employee of the warehouse?
The person who passed away was in the building. Their identity has not been confirmed yet.
Are you able to share the ages of the victim or victims or the age range?
No, not at this point. We're still gathering information. They went to different hospitals. We have officers at those hospitals. At this point, our focus is on making sure that we have this building secure, that we're able to obtain the proper search warrants to search the location and get that investigative process started. But again, we have officers with all the victims, so we'll have that information hopefully soon.
Is this suspect believed to be in an area that would put other people at danger they should be aware of?
Again, this is very preliminary, but the person of interest, we believe we may know their location. We don't have any reason to believe that they are a general threat to society. More than it appears at this point to be a targeted type of attack.
Do you know if that person is?
Like I said, of course, they say that 1 has perished, 5 have been injured. They're still looking into everything. This was last night. This was late last night when all this stuff went down. Obviously, as you can see, it's clearly nighttime at this time. They believe it's still a targeted attack, but like I said, I'm still kind of curious as to how do they know that this is an actual targeted attack? In Process said something, and I want to pull this up here. Maybe testimonies, videos show the assailant went specifically to a certain person, or the deceased had more hits, if you get what I'm saying, than those that were actually injured. That's possible too. That could be like a full-on giveaway that maybe there was the assailant went and attacked one person specifically, but then maybe turned the weapon to the other people that were trying to take him down after the situation, after he went after his targeted, after he went after his target. That's possible too. People going, what the hell? And then they're, of course, trying to save other people because they don't know what he's doing with that weapon in that place in the first place, right? So I could see some people going and trying to take him down, and while they're charging him, while in the scuffle, he's hitting those other people with that weapon as well. So that is possible. He may have walked in, bang, 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 to one particular person, and then everybody around him reacted. Either they scurried and ran, or they charged towards him, trying to take him down. That's possible too, but you never know. He may have done that. The situation could have been 15 million different things. Those people could have just ran, and he just started pulling the trigger on those other people as they ran away. That's still also possible as well. Again, something terrible happened, clearly, and then people reacted. Did they fight or did they run? That's still up for investigation. Let's just say that. But nonetheless, we are still trying to find out what the hell happened here. And they haven't really given much. We're going to be hearing a press conference here shortly. But again, still some things that still need to be answered here very, very soon. Chrissy, thank you so much. Appreciate you always keeping it $100, Pascal. Thank you so much. Love to mods and chat. Sorry, that took a minute. The emojis throw me off all the time, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Shout out to my amazing mods, okay, on both platforms, okay? You guys are all incredible. Thank you so always for holding it down. I appreciate it, okay? But nonetheless, yeah, how did this happen? All right? And they are not giving a whole lot of details. I agree, Nicole B. They're really, really not. And so it does make you wonder, it does make you wonder what actually happened here, right? And of course, we're trying to figure it all out. But this warehouse might be shut down for a little while because of what happened here. And that's tragic, obviously, because people need to make money. Of course, you know, we are in some trying times. Let's not forget, okay, all the stuff that's going on politically, that it's affecting us, you know, that could potentially affect us as far as economically and all that. It is very, very interesting. And then also, let's not forget, Temu is now, and Temu and Shein are in some serious trouble now as well. Yes, ladies and germs, you're not going to be able to get those cheapo versions of things that you really like no more, at least not for a little while, allegedly. Temu and Shein, yeah, ladies, that Shein might be you might be shutting down, you know, them outfits that you like for like $3, all that might be getting shut down here. No, I'm not playing. Some of y'all in the chat are going, what? That's why I played the dun dun dun, because it's some real stuff. All right, that's the real thing, though. So all those things, the little lingerie, the negligees that you get for like $6 through Temu and Shein, all that going bye-bye. All the electronics that you can get through Temu, yeah, all that stuff is going to be on a hold. It just happened yesterday. It just happened. Suddenly now there's a political protest and an upheaval solely because of Shein and Temu. I want my sexy negligees. How dare you stop me from getting my negligees and my bustiers for $3? How dare you? So that's actually what's happening. Real talk. Here's a theory. And I think it's a pretty interesting theory. Is it to help Amazon? Who's Trump's new besties? Think about that for a second. Amazon. Yes. So now everybody's going to be like, well, I can't get it from Temu, can't get it from Shein. What about that Amazon? I'm just saying. Okay. Just saying. Yeah, yeah, Mika, those tariffs. Tariffable. I can't do that. Stop me from doing that. Stop. Next time, guys, stop me from trying to do that. Okay. But it's tariffsable. Yeah. Okay, moving on. We're going to go back into the conversation. But nonetheless, speaking of warehouses and all that too, okay, all that stuff, tariffs are shutting it all down. Okay, yeah, I did, Dom. You got a problem with that, Dom? Huh? I had to. It's tariffsable. I'm just gonna stop. It's 2025. Okay, everything's it's just off the hinges. All right. But again, let's get back into this, okay? Yeah, Temu, Shein, allegedly. You know how it is. They say we're going to shut it all down, and then they turn it all back on. Okay. So we'll just see how it goes. But let's continue on with this. All right.
The
person of interest.
The person of interest. We did recover a firearm at the scene.
What kind of firearm?
I really can't comment at this point, but I'll be able to provide that at a later time.
Any indication of where this person is at?
We do have a location. However, they are not in custody. We do not have them in custody, so I really can't.
Which means they say, "Oh yeah, do you know where he's at?" Which is the most not even a softball question. It's like a t-ball question, right? The thing's just sitting there. You could just knock it out the park. And they say, "Yeah, we know where he, we know some addresses in which he resides in or chills out at. We know the local bar that he likes to go and have his shots of tequila, but we haven't seen him yet." Why do you think you haven't seen him yet? It's because he's on the run, guys. He's on the run. Clearly, he's not going to be chilling in his boxers and his tube socks watching The Price is Right at home right now. Why did I bring up Price is Right? Just go with me on that, okay? Still, though, it's not like they're just going to go, knock, knock, knock. How you doing, Mr. Foster? We'd like to have you come in. No, he going to be gone. He kicked rocks. He ran. So he's trying to go somewhere. He's in a hotel, motel, or a Holiday Inn at this point. Or he's in he's in nature. He's living out there, living off the fat of the land while he's out on the lam. All right? So this might be a long manhunt, or this may be a short one. We'll see, right?
I can't really add much more at this point. Just for the simple fact that we need to make sure they're in custody before we can comment anymore, for nothing else but the officer's safety.
Do you know if this was a domestic violence related situation?
We don't have a motive at this point.
No motive. They still have no motive at this point, which of course is that's frustrating too, because it's like, why did he do this? Because again, they say it's a targeted attack. Let me just say this really quick. Why would they say, real talk, why would they say that this is that they know that this is a targeted attack, but they don't know what his motive is? Think about that for a second. It was a targeted attack, yet they still don't know what his motive was. So if they don't know what his motive was, he could still be out on the lam. He could still be at large, willing to do a lot of very, very bad things to a lot of other people. So he is still a menace to society. He is still a danger to the town and the city of New Albany and all surrounding areas as well. They don't have the full answer. So again, that doesn't make any sense. Because just because he used that weapon and say that weapon was left behind when he ran, doesn't mean that he doesn't have another one, y'all. Man, I got friends who got like 16 different pieces on them at all times. I'm not kidding. I know people who are just suited and booted. So again, just because he used that weapon there does not mean that he left it behind, doesn't mean that he doesn't have one on his person. And if you don't know what his motive is, how do you know for a fact that this was a targeted attack? Because it could be a targeted attack in that specific area. There could be other people on his list that he's trying to go after as well. Let's not forget that. He may have hated his supervisor. He may have hated his manager, but he may have hated the guy who, was at the gas station, the gas station clerk that he doesn't like, or the person that cut him off, on the intersection of this and that. You see what I'm saying? So it to me, I'm going logically, I'd be asking that question if I was a reporter. How do you know that this is a targeted attack if you don't know what his motive was? Because you need a motive to have a target, right? So again, it just doesn't make sense to me. All right, but let's continue on. All right, I'm going to let them cook. I'm going to let the police cook. But at the same time, that's a piece that I keep wondering, what's up with that? Make it make sense.
Like there were a lot of people that were still inside the building, and they were getting them out. Can you talk about the process of getting all those people out and about how many people there were?
Yes. When we arrived, there were people that were self-evacuating the building. And then we have obviously a lot of people in the building. Some of them in the facility, the noise level is pretty high, so some people were unaware of the situation. Again, it's a large building, so we were able to muster everybody and take them to a neighboring building where they are all gathered now.
Have families of the victims or the employees that are being held been notified?
They all have. We have officers with them, so I don't know exactly. We haven't had time to notify the family of the injured or the deceased. We're working to do that now. As far as the people that have been taken to the other building, we're talking at least 150 people, and we have officers there working with them. I'm not sure where we are with that process. Again, it's a neighboring building. It's about 400 yards away.
Are any of those employees giving any information as to what they witnessed?
Yeah, there are witnesses that have provided information to us.
Can you explain where this took place in the warehouse? Was it in a very open space, a closed off area?
I don't have that information. I know that when we cleared the building, we obviously had officers that located the injured and the deceased. I don't have that location. I can tell you that the nature of the building, it has a lot of open spaces.
You said there are 150 people in the building.
I was estimating. So, I would say that about 150 people were evacuated to a neighboring building.
What time did the call come in?
I don't have that exact time. I can get that for you.
The people who were evacuated, are they still being held on site right now, or have they been released?
The people that were evacuated are still on site. Okay. The officers are in the process of making sure that we have all their information to contact them at a later time, and also interviewing them. With a number of them, there's a language barrier, so it's taking a little bit longer than you might expect.
Okay, so again, there is not much going on, and again, as far as the information that they know, they do have eyewitnesses. They do have statements from eyewitnesses and all that, and of course, this is still an ongoing investigation. Okay, this is still ongoing. We still don't know everything as of yet, but don't worry, we're going to be looking at a couple there's a little bit more of an updated press conference that we're going to be looking at here in just a minute. But again, they still don't know everything as of yet, and hopefully we will be getting the answers here very, very soon. But really quick, somebody just said something in the chat, okay, and this is the thing, okay. There could be this is the thing. There could be an end or a slowdown of shipments from Shein and Temu. Okay, there is an article out there where people are talking about it. Of course, they're saying that that there could be a halt or more expensive shipping to from those specific companies due to these tariffs that are going on between America and China. Just so you know, okay? So just so y'all know, this is what's going on, all right? Trump's tariffs could change that. His tariff orders reverse a long-standing shipping loophole, okay? The rule allowed international exporters to ship packages worth less than $800 inspection and duty-free into the U.S., okay? So these e-commerce sites have built their gargantuan business models around this exemption. The relaxed restrictions and tax exemptions on cheap products has allowed more than 1 billion packages to pour in at a low-cost price for consumers looking for a deal on clothing to household goods and electronics. Okay, but the Trump administration is getting rid of the provision that made these goods so cheap and easy to access. If you inspect every package, it is going to raise costs dramatically for consumers. All right. It is also going to slow down the reception of goods that were bought. So right now they're saying that because of the tariffs between Trump and China, and they're going head to head right now, there is going to be a slowdown, if not a halt, in those things as well. Just so you guys know. So I'm not just fibbing, making things up. No, Temu and Shein could be very, very affected by the tariffs that are going on right now between, let's just say, between Trump and China, Trump and all these other countries that are going on. I mean, let's be real. Trump, Mexico, Canada, China, and various other countries that, that they're working out these tariffs, obviously, certain things can be affected by those tariffs if it doesn't go the way that Trump wants them to go, just so you guys know. All right. But moving on back into this, because like I said, somebody was in there going, I'm I'm looking it up and I don't see anything about things getting shut down. I didn't say Temu and Shein are shut down. I'm just saying there might be a halt on those kinds of things coming to this country because of the prices, because of these tariffs. Okay. No, Shein and Temu are still going to exist. It's going to be out there. It's still going to exist. People are still buying from all over the globe off of Shein and Temu, but there may be a halt and a significant slowdown of shipments from those two specific companies to this country. Okay. Just so you guys know. All right. So USPS says it will resume accepting inbound packages from. Okay. So that's good news too. All right. But that is so USPS was said it will resume accepting inbound mail and packages from China and Hong Kong posts, which is obviously good news. Just hours after it suspended service from those regions, the agency didn't give a reason for suspension, but it came after Trump imposed an extra 10% tariff on all imports. Trump has halted a popular trade loophole, which is known as de minimis. That's commonly used by Chinese online retailers like Temu and Shein. So it looks like everything should be back up and running again. So that's good news too. All right. But let's move on. All right. Because we're not here to talk about Temu and Shein, but giving you guys that update, giving you guys that information. That was just a little bit of information that just dropped, which obviously for a lot of people, I'm sure a lot of you guys are very excited about that information. You can go and get your negligees and your bustiers again for $3. All right. But let us get back into this. We have a press conference. Let's take a look at this press conference here. 1 second. Let us get into this press conference. And of course, do not forget, oh yeah, Canada is not happy at all. I already know about that. Okay. Canada is very upset. And war. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome. I think it's welcome back, but I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support. Really means the world to me. But let's take a look at this. All right. We got a press conference here. I know you guys aren't going to be able to hear on TikTok, but I will try to paraphrase in moments here. Okay. Just so y'all know. Let's get into it.
To give you a little bit of background, the incident occurred about 10:30 last night. We received a call of a shooter. KDC is a light manufacturing facility, but it's a very large building. Upon arrival, first off, our officers were able to get here very quickly, and we are fortunate to have great law enforcement partners from Franklin and Lincoln County who responded as well, along with the fire department. Once we made entry into the building, it was a large building. We eventually found 6 victims. 5 of them were transported to the hospital. I can't release their condition at this point. The 6th victim was deceased in the building. The suspect, we had learned, had left the building or left the area before our arrival, or left the immediate area before our arrival. We quickly evacuated approximately 150 other employees to a neighboring building. And then again, with all of our local partners, not only other cities and counties, but our state partners and federal authorities immediately began to try to track the suspect down. We are doing so as we speak. And it's, we hope to have news for you soon. Again, this is a tragedy that to be honest with you, I never thought we'd see in our community, and unfortunately, it's hit home. So we just want our community to know, and just the community as a whole, that we're doing everything we can to bring this individual into custody. and also to ensure the safety of our citizens and the people that work in the community.
Chief, I know it's early. What are you able to say in terms of a motive here? Obviously, this is highly unusual in New Albany. A lot of concern about something like this happening. What do we know about what led this to occur?
First off, let me just say this really quick, okay? Obviously, they still are saying that this is an ongoing investigation. They're still trying to figure a few things out for those of y'all who are watching on TikTok. All right, but here's the thing: the sun is starting to become daybreak, right? The sun is coming out, so hopefully they got a little bit more information here. This was obviously very early in the morning that they had this press conference just a little bit ago. So hopefully they will have some new information of why this whole thing happened, how this happened, who this guy is, is he still at large? Are they zeroing in on him? Do they know his location possibly? Did he make any phone calls after this whole thing went down? You see what I'm saying? Like, did he just drop everything and run? Or are they able to ping his cell phone, etc.? Right? So let's find out.
Yeah, that's we don't have a motive at this point. From everybody we interviewed, which was quite a few people, obviously, with a facility this size, there's no reports of any type of confrontation or any type of dispute that would have brought this about.
You said it was a targeted attack overnight. What leads you to believe that?
Because it was at his place of work. So all the victims, all the people that were injured or the person that is deceased worked in the facility.
And I heard you correct.
So he says this was a targeted attack. He still is saying this is a targeted attack solely because workers, employees, his coworkers were injured, and of course one lost their life solely because of what happened inside the warehouse. To me, that doesn't sound like, yes, it is an attack. Yes, it happened and it's condensed in one particular area, but it's not sitting right for me to say that this is just a targeted attack. Now, I'm not sitting here saying, I'm not trying to be a fear monger. I'm not trying to, add more to the drama or add more to the problem. I'm just saying he did this and he ran. If you don't have a motive, then this still, in my personal opinion, is not. It's if you have no motive, then how do you know it's targeted? I'm just saying it just seems a bit odd to me. But okay, let's go.
Exactly, that the suspect did work here. Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Do you know how long the suspect worked there?
We do not know that.
Do you know his exact position here?
No.
Is there any threat to the public at this hour?
We don't believe so. Like I said, I think that the suspect has left the area. We have information that is taking us to certain addresses that we are working to check and try to find him. And another thing too is that there was a weapon recovered at the scene.
Okay.
And we only received reports of one weapon.
So
as far as you know, just the one shooter involved in the incident.
Correct.
Okay, so they say that the weapon was left behind. So he did this. He somehow the weapon, he dropped the weapon. Or maybe he lost possession of the weapon through him trying to run away. Maybe, I don't know, but the weapon was left behind, and then he kicked rocks. But again, still does not mean that this guy ain't out here with another weapon. And again, if they don't know what his motive is, still doesn't. I am not putting off to this. I'm not throwing off the table the possibility of other potential targets out there. Okay. Or that he's just willing to go and do God knows what. Just because he doesn't have that hand pew does not mean that he doesn't have another one on his person or in his car. Okay, but let's continue.
And as you guys probably already know, when this originally happens, there's all kinds of reports that you receive. Originally, there was reported that there was two shooters. We were able to quickly determine that's not true.
If the shooter sees the coverage, what's your message to him?
To turn himself in. We have
turn yourself in.
Counties. We have municipal jurisdictions, both sheriff's departments. We have state officials, the U.S. Marshal Service, ATF, all working to check these locations where he might be and to bring him into custody. And I would recommend that he turns himself in. I think it's going to be a matter of time before he's brought into custody.
I know you said it's a really large.
Are local?
No, I'm not able to say that. I'm not sure their address. We interviewed and we also ID'd all the the people that work in the building that we evacuated. I can tell you that the person that is deceased is not local to New Albany.
This is a large facility. I know it's early in the investigation, but can you give us any sort of sense of how this took place? Was he scheduled to be at work and it occurred then? Did he come into an area he not normally is in? What do we know about the circumstances?
So he had been at work for some time when this occurred. We don't have any reports that there was any issue that he was in an area that he wasn't supposed to be, or he was in trouble in any way, or there was any conflict. We have not to say that there wasn't something, but after interviewing everybody we have and supervisors at the company, we don't have any reports of anything like that.
Any victim update?
What's that?
Any victim update right now?
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't give that to you right now. We can follow up and provide that soon.
Can you provide any details on males, females, how many injured in regards to that?
As far as the victims go, no, I don't have that at this point.
Do you have any information about the security at this building? What type of measures there are? Do people have to scan in? Are there, metal detectors when people go in the building?
I don't know the details that I can provide you. I know that we had to use key fobs and different ways of accessing different parts of the building. So I know there is a level of manual security, but I'm not sure of the details.
What else are you able to tell us about?
So still they don't have everything yet, but then of course they have key fobs that you have to use to get into certain places in the facility and all that. But again, it seems like it's very odd because you have 150 employees in that place. 150 employees in that warehouse. And the sun is coming up at this point. This tragedy happened at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time last night. So while we were talking about the new updates and the Diddy case and all these new lawsuits for Diddy and all that stuff, which I'm sure there's going to be more later on today, at some point today, this tragedy ensued. But now the sun is out. And like I said, I'm not knocking 5-0. I'm going to let them cook. But it seems a bit odd that 150 individuals, they haven't gotten any new information so far. Like I said, it's daybreak, early in the morning, and they still don't have full answers on what actually happened here and why this happened the way it went down. You see what I'm saying? That's odd. It's odd. By now, they should have at least something, right? Something.
The firearm in this case, what type of weapon was it? Can you tell us more?
It was a handgun. I really can't go into it any further than that. And again, our partners at the federal government, ATF, has responded and are helping us track that firearm.
One other thing, though, too, I'll say this, because they said that there was a hand pew-pew, okay, a hand weapon, if you get what I'm saying. All right. They also say that they, of course, they were asking what kind. He was like, I can't tell you what type it is. It's an ongoing investigation. So sure, there's certain things that they're not going to say to the public because one, they don't want to tip off potentially tip off this assailant, this Bruce Foster monster from finding out, oh, they're gonna find me at the local Denny's. Let me run, right? Let me finish this moons over my hammy and kick rocks. You see what I'm saying? So again, it does make you. I get that there's certain things that they're not going to say to people or say to the press, but there's other things like, are you really sure that this was solely a targeted attack? Is there anything else that you can tell us within your investigation that you could tell the public that will keep their minds at ease? Because no matter what, this is still a dangerous man. It doesn't matter. He is still a danger to people, period. Okay? But still, it just seems weird that they don't have anything yet, right? But again, I get it. I get it. It's an ongoing investigation, like I just said. Still, I don't know. It seems very empty, right? It just seems very empty. Anyway, let's move on. Yes, I did. I went with the moons over my hammy. I'm more of like a grand slam or a French slam, but yeah, okay, yeah. I went with the moons over my hammy. All right, real talk. All right, this is why you watch this show. I keep you on your toes. All right, let's rock and roll.
Provide any updates on the suspect search? I know there were several scenes earlier today. Can you talk about that any further?
As far as the suspects look, yeah. So we, you know, we had addresses that we thought the suspect might be at, and that our officers and our partners went to those addresses, checked those addresses, obtained search warrants, and that the ones that we've checked so far, that we've not been able to find him. But right before we had this press briefing, we even received more information about some other addresses that we could check.
Was there witnesses that saw him leave, or camera footage that saw him leave? There's a lot of massive buildings here.
Yeah, there is camera footage, and we know how he left the building. So there's camera footage of quite a bit of his entrance and leaving the building.
Have you talked to leadership here at all? What are they saying? Do they
Yeah.
know anything about this suspect?
What did they say?
They had a manager, actually a supervisor and a manager here, and I can't at this point I can't release details of what they their characterization of him as an employee. But they did say that nobody here noticed any type of confrontation or anything that one might expect that triggered this.
So they didn't. So what they're basically saying is they did talk to employees, which I'm glad that they did. All right, to some supervisors, people who run the factory, all that kind of stuff, overseeing all these employees, and they do have some, I guess, a character breakdown of this particular assailant. They can't give us much of that information right now, which of course is very frustrating and annoying. But at the same time, though, they're saying, hey, we know some information about this guy. It sounds like they were going to, it's from what he's alluding to, which of course, you know, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but it seems like they're saying some things about this guy that it can go both ways. It can go either way. Either he was not easy to work with, or he was very kind and worked with everybody. That's the other thing too, that he also said that this came out of nowhere, that there was no foreshadowing. There was no warning signs of any kind whatsoever. He just did this. He just came out of nowhere, y'all. And that is a scary thing. And that's a scary thought to think about as well. Let's continue.
What's that? No, this was, he had been there for several hours. I'm not sure when his shift ended, but he had been there for several hours before this occurred.
How are you doing, Chief?
Good. You know, it's been a long night, but I'll tell you, it's not me. It's particularly having to break the news to a family member of the family that lost somebody last night, and to the staff who I'm sure is traumatized, and to all the police and fire staff that have been out here all night working on this. So, but they're doing a great job, and they're truly professionals.
The staff at this facility, have they been allowed to go home, and how are they doing?
Yeah, so the facility's closed. It's a crime scene. Right now it's a large facility, so it's going to take, I don't know, it could be like 12 hours before this scene is actually processed. We have BCI, and they brought out a tremendous amount of staff and resources to help process the scene. But the facility's closed, and it will be for some time. And as far as the employees go, I'm not sure how the company notified them not to come into work. Yeah, as I said, about 150 people were working in there, so I'm not sure how many they expected to come in the next shift.
A question for the mayor. You both mentioned that this was a tragedy you never thought you would see in this community. How do you believe that the community will rally together during this time of struggle?
Yeah, in New Albany, we're a very tight community, and everyone will bond together in a tragic situation like this. No one wants to have these types of mornings. And, I know an email went out to the school community this morning before students even got on the bus, talking about the situation, but also reaffirming that we're doing everything we can to make sure our community is safe. And I have a lot of faith in our community pulling together in this tragic situation.
Again, I am very curious about what they're going to do, what's the next steps they're going to do to try to get this guy. Because clearly, no matter what, doesn't matter if this was a targeted attack, doesn't matter if they knew what his motive was, which still is up in the air, what his motive was and why he did what he did. Because apparently they say this just came out of nowhere. There was no foreshadowing. There was no warning signs. He just walked in and did what he did, right? But here it is, guys. They need to. I'm hoping that they're taking, and I'm sure they're doing everything they can in their power to do so. But I'm hoping that they do, rev the engines up and get to work in trying to find this man. Because again, this man is very, very dangerous. He just did what he did. Doesn't matter if he doesn't have the weapon that he used in that warehouse with him. There's still a potential. There's still a possibility of him actually having that another weapon somewhere else. Okay. And it doesn't matter. This man is still a threat to the public. And that's important, right? Let me see something. I just saw something. Kev just said something. And if that's the case, that is great freaking news, man. That is great freaking news. I'm glad that happened quickly. Hold on. Yeah, because you guys have been sending me all the stuff that's been going down. Hold on one second. Show this to y'all too, real quick before I look into that. But take a look at this. This is just from last night. All from last night. So you can see massive police presence last night when all of this went down. Now, again, if this is true, if it is true that this guy was actually caught, hold on. Let me just see. So Ohio News is saying that they're still looking for him. 27 minutes ago, another reporter is saying that they're still looking. The manhunt is still underway. They are still looking for this man. Suspect is identified as Bruce Reginald Foster III, 6 feet tall, 175 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. They say brown hair, but I mean, it's black hair. All right. As of a minute ago, police said morning that, here's something that just put up a minute ago, which is obviously great news. This is from now, I'll take it with a grain of salt because I'd like to hear it, from the horse's mouth a little bit more. But they're saying suspect in custody after this mass tragedy in New Albany that left 1 unalive and, of course, 5 injured. Suspect in custody after a mass tragedy in New Albany. Okay, we already know about all that. They identified the suspect as Bruce Reginald Foster III. Police said Wednesday morning that Foster was taken into custody after executing a search warrant in Columbus, Ohio. So, New Albany Police Chief Jones said Foster worked at the KDC 1. Okay, we already know about that there was a phone call to the police about an active monster at about 10:20 p.m. last night. Okay, at the light manufacturing facility we already know about this. I'm just seeing if there's any meat. I'm trying to get straight to the meat and potatoes. Of course, his hand weapon was found at the scene of the crime. Still saying that this was a targeted attack. He already has been charged with aggravated M, Okay. His home address is listed at an apartment complex in Northeast Columbus. So you mean to tell me this guy went back to, wow, wait a second. So you mean to tell me this dude went back to his crib? Like real talk? Potentially went back to his crib? New Albany Mayor Sloan Spalding expressed his sympathies to the families, of course, that were of the people impacted by this tragedy. But again, look at this. Foster already had been charged with aggravated M. His home address is listed at an apartment complex in Northeast Columbus. He was found and arrested. Where did it go? In Columbus. Look at this. Police said Wednesday morning that Foster was taken into custody after executing a search warrant in Columbus. So did Bruce go back to his crib? They said different apartment they said they went to search different addresses. So is that possible that he went back to his own crib? This is Ohio, guys. The state is Ohio, just so y'all know. Again, let me read more. Let's see what else is here. We know the reason of the individual to undertake these horrible acts, but regrettably the pattern is common. Blah, blah, blah. So Jones said that Foster did not drive to work. He said it appears Foster left the building after this tragedy, and a ride was waiting for him before police arrived. Wow. Wow. Did he take a ride share? Or did he have somebody who hooked him up with a ride? Yo! That's some diabolical ish if you really think about it. Think about it. That also shows, man, you just took the words right out my mouth, Laureen. Okay. But that also shows premeditation. I got to hit it again. Did he call a freaking Uber? Was an Uber his getaway driver? Think about that for a second. Did homeboy call a Lyft or an Uber and use that driver as his getaway driver? That's insane. Unless somebody else worked in tandem with him. He did what he did. And the person pulled up, he jumped in the car, and he ran. And they drove off. But that's insane, because that also shows that this was premeditated and that this dude knew exactly what he was going to do. And he had to go and do it as soon as possible because either his ride was pulling up or his ride share was pulling up. Can you believe that stuff? That's insane. That's insane if that happened. But again, let me repeat that again. He left the building after the tragedy, and a ride was waiting for him before police arrived. So they said detectives are interviewing people who are in the building. He said there are witnesses. Of course there are. They were evacuated to a neighboring building, I'm sorry. More than 24 police vehicles were at the scene Wednesday morning, including from all these different counties, of course, obviously, right? The chief said the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Identification and Investigation, the U.S. Bureau of, the ATF, okay, and the U.S. Marshal Service are helping with the investigation. And again, this man, according to this article, they're saying that this man has been detained. But I'm checking here though, real quick, because you know how it is. They say one thing, and then next thing you know, you find out something completely different. They say something else. It's kind of like what we dealt with the Black Hawk and the American Airlines flight collision, right? Hold on one second. Let's see. Let's see if there's any updates here. They don't say. See, that's what's crazy. They don't have any. That's what's interesting about it, because they're not saying anything in the news so far saying that, that he's been detained. Obviously, this is very, 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 from what we saw, is very fresh. But it does make you wonder if that's the case.
Action to seeing this
Wow.
all unfold just right outside your
Yep.
workplace.
Honestly,
Okay,
we were a
hold
little
on.
worried.
We got a few things here. Hold on. Because they, of course, have some breaking news. Let's take a look at this. This is interesting, yo. Wow. Let's take a look at this. Wow.
Cruisers pull up. Now they've been walking around a little bit, talking to some.
Hold on.
Tara, what are you hearing from police? So they will get to that. We do have Tara Jabor. She is back out in New Albany. Tara, what are you hearing from police?
Albany Police Department, just about 5 minutes. Two Columbus cruisers pull up. Now they've been walking around a little bit, talking to some other New Albany police officers here at headquarters. Of course, we do know that suspect, 28, Bruce Foster, was found about a half hour ago. We do expect them to bring the suspect here. Right now, we are just still waiting to see what will happen. Again, to Columbus.
The most important. What is it? What's going on? They're whispering to each
All
other.
right. Thank you so much, Tara. We do have other reporters working on this. Bryn Caswell is
Hamburger.
joining us now, and we understand Bryn has a witness. Bryn, can you hear us?
What is it? What's going on?
At the intersection of North High Street and King Avenue, and I'm here right now with Kenneth Roberts. You saw all of this go down when the police apprehended the suspect. Tell me, what did you see right behind us here?
Hamburger.
So honestly, we just saw multiple police cars and arrive right before my shift started. And essentially, about 10 a.m., all these police cars showed up trying to just de-escalate the situation where somebody had a knife to somebody.
What is your reaction to seeing this all unfold just right outside your workplace?
Wait a second. So somebody came in. I can't read lips, war. Okay. I'm a man of many, many skills and many talents, but I can't read lips, man. Okay. But here's something that's very interesting. They're basically saying that this guy had a weapon to somebody else. So there was possible hostage situation going on here. Interesting.
Honestly, we were a little worried, but at the same time, not too surprised, as this kind of constantly happens in this exact area.
Okay. And when we discussed what happened yesterday at that facility where one person has died and others are injured, do you have any words for those impacted today by this?
Honestly, I would just wish to see something like reformed or redone. Definitely with our situation, like with our officials. I feel like we just need to talk more as a community and get together and do something about it.
Okay, thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate it. So again, this is still a very active
This is crazy.
situation right now. Police, I did see the U.S. Marshals. They did exit that apartment building that Kevin Landers was referring to earlier in the show. But officers are still going in, they're going out. This is still very much an active scene. So we're going to stay here, bring you guys the latest information as we get it. Tracy.
All right, Bryn, and that witness there looks sort of like, I think probably many people are feeling like a little bit of a shock that this is kind of coming to this sort of end so quickly.
Exactly. Shocked is the best way to describe this. Kenneth said he came into work and then he just saw all of these cars rush here to this apartment complex. And if you are familiar with this area, it's right near the Kroger, right across the street. This is a very busy area with a lot of people. There's still more people out here who are wanting to talk to us. So you'll have to come back and we'll be sharing more of their stories.
I'm still kind of curious. Does this mean that the guy went back home? Or did he sneak into somebody else's home? Because it sounds like this was like he was holding somebody against their will and there was a little bit of a standoff, it sounds like. I mean, at least that's what that eyewitness said. He said it kind of quick, but he's like, yeah, this person was there and he had a knife to the person and blah, blah, blah. He said it so fast. But again, I'm kind of curious. Was he using one of his own family members as you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm kind of curious about that, but that's some terrifying stuff. Unless he ran into somebody's home and did what he did, right? That's possible too, but still, wow, crazy stuff, guys.
All right, we
Brian, are they
appreciate
actually
that.
roping off any of that area or considering that part of the crime scene, or are they finishing up the investigation there now?
No, they are still investigating. Like I said, I did see some U.S. Marshals leave the apartment building, but I did see another officer enter, and they're trying to talk to people, I believe, who live inside of the building. Another witness I did speak with, he told me that his friends live inside this apartment. He cannot get into the apartment, and he's trying to get a hold of them. So I do think some people, if they're trying to meet up with their loved ones or friends or even enter this building, they're not able to get in right now because investigators are still inside trying to gather evidence and other information about the suspect.
All right, Brent Caswell.
Pull up here at the
Skipping ahead a little bit, though. Okay.
Albany Police Department. Tara, any new information there?
Well, Jay, just about 5-10 minutes ago, we saw 2 Columbus police officers pull up here at the New Albany Police Department. They were walking around. Another black car just pulled up here. We've seen police talking a bit outside. We know that they will probably eventually be bringing that suspect, Bruce Foster, here to the New Albany Police Department. As you can see, Columbus police are now leaving as we speak. Now, this shooting happened, of course, at that KDC 1 warehouse. That's about 4 miles here from the police department. So it's really not too far away. Of course, we know still that 1 person is dead and that 5 other people are injured. Again, you're taking a look at the New Albany Police Department. We'll, of course, stay here, be here, wait for police to come and keep you updated as we learn more information. But for now, reporting live in New Albany, Tara Jabor, 10 TV News.
Tara, thank you. We
That's
do want to
annoying.
give you a view of where the suspect was caught. Do we have that map? Can we bring that up?
7th
That
Avenue
area?
and High Street.
7th and High. We have crews out there on the scene. Oh, and we also want to talk about KDC 1. That's the facility where this happened.
And apparently it's a pretty big facility, one of many manufacturing facilities in that area. There's the map. So again, you're seeing the Columbus area here. The shooting scene on the map there is what we're referencing now in New Albany. Out there to the east of town, big manufacturing spot. They do something with beauty products and packaging for beauty products. Again, that shooting, 10:30 last night there at KDC 1 in New Albany. Officials in that area shocked, totally stricken by this, say this sort of stuff doesn't happen in New Albany. I believe we want to check back now with 10 TV's Bryn Caswell. She spoke with a witness near the scene. Is that right?
Actually, we're going to check in with Clay and talk more about that company. Consumer Trends Clay Gordon joining us here in studio. Clay?
Yeah, Jay, you mentioned it.
Absolute chaos. That's live news, everybody. We're going to go and talk to this eyewitness. Oh, no, we're not. Never mind. We're going to go over here instead. Oops.
Home care. That's all according to its website. Now, KDC stands for Knowlton Development Corporation.
I'm moving on.
Last few minutes. Several Columbus police cars, as you see, their major presence there surrounding the New Albany Police Department. We are still have our crews out there working to see the suspect that we have learned, again, is in custody. This is Bruce Reginald Foster III. He simply goes by Bruce. We know he's an employee at KDC 1. That's the warehouse where, of course, this shooting happened.
Bruce was working there before the shooting. We don't know how long he's been working there or how long he'd even been on the clock yesterday, but we did hear from authorities earlier that he was on the clock. He was an employee there, and that's when he started shooting around 10:30 last night. He is now charged with aggravated murder. Just minutes ago, we learned police arrested him near 7th and High Street in Columbus. So he made it quite a ways.
Yeah.
There was a moment earlier in the day when they thought they had him surrounded in a home. It turns out it was a previous residence elsewhere in Columbus. Of course, we sent a crew there to have eyes on the scene. Nothing played out there other than a massive police and SWAT presence. So we've got reporters at 4 different locations right now, just to keep you up to date. KDC 1 in New Albany, that's where the shooting happened. New Albany Police Department, which is where he's believed to.
But I want to know, did the guy go back home? Did he go get into this? I'm assuming it was a ride share. He ordered an Uber or a taxi of some sort. That's what I believe. Because again, if somebody else gave him a ride, then that person should also be arrested as well. Right? Because if they knew that they were giving him a ride after him doing something like this, That person is obviously, a co-conspirator, etc., right? But what's interesting is that this man potentially went back home, y'all. This is just so odd to me. I'm just going to keep it real. It's so freaking odd. Let's see what this reporter says. I'm just rolling it back a little bit.
There were several police cruisers here from other outside agencies that were here assisting. BCI had multiple vehicles here. I know I spoke with someone at BCI who told me they had both a crime scene investigation team here that's looking at all of the evidence from inside the facility. They had some of their special investigators also working with New Albany police. They were trying to track down Bruce Foster, and they were trying to assist in this investigation. Now they'll try to go back through and piece together why this happened. We do know the ATF is also assisting in this investigation. The New Albany police chief said that they did find a gun on the scene here. I spoke with the ATF and they said that gun will be processed. They'll take it to the Crime Gun Intelligence Center in Columbus. They'll try to trace that gun. They'll try to find out where it came from and if it's been used in any other crime, trying to learn as much as they can from that weapon, find out if Foster bought it legally or illegally. But now a lot of questions remain, and those questions New Albany police will soon be asking Foster at the New Albany Police Department.
Lacey, quick question for you. When I was there earlier, a lot of folks were showing up for work for the day there in that industrial park. They seemed confused about why things were blocked off, why they couldn't get into the regular parking lot. Are you seeing more people come out now? Has anybody approached you guys with questions about what's going on out there?
So we haven't seen a whole lot of workers, but some of the people who do transportation to this facility have stopped us. They asked what was going on and that they will do busing services to this facility because it is one of those massive complexes. As you mentioned, Jay, you were here earlier this morning. There were 150 people about inside the building at the time of the shooting. This facility is so large that many of the people who were inside at the time didn't even know that the shooting happened because of the noises that go on inside of the building, inside the manufacturing plant, and because they were so far away. I know the company officials have said they were trying to get the word out to workers that the facility will be closed today. The New Albany police chief told us that earlier this morning.
All right, Lacey Crisp reporting for us in New Albany.
Again, this is some crazy stuff, and obviously we are still trying to figure out what happened here. But of course, there was a mass tragedy that happened last night. A man, an employee of this specific, hold on, I'm going to pause this because we are definitely going to look at this. Okay. Because there may be more information because I'm kind of curious about how this man was caught, and hopefully they can answer that here within this part of the broadcast. But from what we understand is this particular person went, okay, and he's an employee. He was there for several hours. He opened fire. Somehow he didn't go out to his car because he didn't have a car. So he had the weapon on his person. So he pulled out that weapon and he opened fire. He took the life of one. He injured 5 others. Then it sounds like, from my understanding, he got an Uber or Lyft, like some sort of ride share or some sort of taxi, jumped in that ride and drove off before police even showed up. So he used an Uber driver as a getaway ride. Then he was out on the lam for a minute, all throughout this morning, all throughout the night into this early morning, until they were able to find him in Columbus, Ohio, which apparently is the same area in which he lives in also. So the question is, he may have been back at home. He may have gone back to his residence to stay at home. And then police showed up. And of course, apparently there possibly was a standoff, because you heard it from one of the eyewitnesses. An eyewitness said something about him having a weapon up against somebody else. So it does make you wonder, maybe there was some sort of standoff that actually happened here before he actually got arrested. So the question still remains, did this guy go back home? Now, if he did, he's a special kind of dumb. And thank God he's a special kind of dumb, because if he wasn't this special kind of dumb. This could have been a long manhunt. Okay, we'd be looking at this like the Danilo Cavalcante situation from last year and all that, up in Philly or up in Pennsylvania, right? Where he's literally just running around in the wilderness like he's reliving Lord of the Flies or something like that. You know what I mean? So thank God if he went back to his home, he was that kind of special, that special kind of dumb. That's exactly what I think in my head, but it's just tragic that this whole thing went down the way it went down. This guy had his weapon on him. He did not have a car. So it's not like he went out to his car, got the weapon, walked back in, and then tragedy ensued. It means that this man was thinking about this, and this was all premeditated. He thought about all of this before this ish went down. But of course, they were able to get him. Okay? They were able to get him, and I'm thankful for that. And hopefully he is that special kind of dumb. That's what I'm hoping for, because that's how they were able to get him so quickly. Okay, by daybreak, they got him, which is great. But let's hear what this reporter has to say here really, really quick, all right?
This area right outside of Pier Apartments, which is on East 7th Avenue, was swarmed with Columbus police officers as well as New Albany police and U.S. Marshals as they took Mr. Foster into custody. The witness I spoke to took a photograph, and you could see the police officers blocking this street. We do not know at this point why Mr. Foster came to this area. We don't know if he made it inside the building or he was arrested outside the building. We can tell you that when we arrived here, there were medics in the alley just in case someone was injured. Police are still on the scene. You can see Columbus police officer there, and the U.S. Marshal was here as well. But we don't know exactly at this point why Mr. Foster chose this area, and that is something police are trying to figure out as well. We know they've been inside this building talking to potential witnesses about what they saw, and we hope to have more information on those details later on this evening.
So they don't know why he did what he did, not yet at least, and that's interesting. They don't know why he went back, why he went to this particular area. Was it another targeted another target? That could be it too. Let's not forget, he allegedly, from that eyewitness that we just heard a little bit ago, they're saying that he had a sharp object in his hand, if you get what I'm saying, a kniff, because you can't even say that word on these platforms, but a kniff, all right? He had a kniff on him, and he had it held against somebody else. So it does make you wonder, was that person a target? Just because he doesn't have his pew-pew and he's got that sharp object in his hand does not mean, in his possession, does not mean that he's not a threat to other people, that he's not a menace to other people, right? So again, Ken Kniff, hey, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, True Dragon. Somebody got it, but it's also a knife. Okay, but still, something ain't right here. Okay, something ain't right here. So let's hear a little bit more.
As I've been out here, I've been speaking with a lot of people who've actually been coming out of this apartment complex that Kevin is standing outside of. And a lot of them, they're OSU students. They're trying to make their way to class. And one of them that I just spoke to told me he did hear knocking on a door next to his apartment. And then he heard go, go, go. And that's how he woke up this morning. He was very confused about what he heard, but he is.
Hold on. From what they're saying, it sounds like this person was inside the home. He was inside an apartment, so he wasn't outside. Now we're getting that answer. He was inside. He was inside an apartment.
Is now on his way to class, and he didn't want to stop and talk to us on camera. So again, we're still working to confirm exactly where this arrest happened. If it happened physically inside of here, which we do think it probably did happen, or if it happened somewhere outside of this apartment building. But for the most part, people I've spoken to are shocked that this suspect, when he did all of this in New Albany, somehow made his way 20 minutes away here to downtown Columbus. So there's just still a lot of questions, but everyone I've spoken to, they're completely shocked by this, and that the suspect was apprehended right here on this on this area right across the street from Kroger. I did speak to someone who took a photo of the suspect being arrested. He works just down the street from where it all happened. He said, unfortunately, with this Kroger being across the street, he's not entirely surprised that this has happened in this area, but he did say he's shocked that the suspect made his way that far from New Albany here to Columbus. As I've been out here, we've seen the U.S. Marshals. They've been coming in and out of this apartment complex along with Columbus police officers. So we're going to stay out here. We're going to keep interviewing people and finding out what they heard this morning.
All right, Brent, thank you for that update. Certainly he did appear to cover a lot of ground. We're in the city now. We're going to go back out to east. We're going to head out east, Mount Carmel East. In fact, that is where Carla Rogner is.
Okay. Again, guys, this particular person has been detained, which is absolutely fantastic news. Okay. This assailant has been arrested, but it looks like there was a little bit of a standoff. From what we're gathering right now, we don't have everything confirmed yet, but it sounds like they broke into an apartment complex or broke into an apartment and were able to detain this guy. How were they able to find him? My assumption is that the address that they had was his residence. I feel like this was actually his home, or this was an apartment that he at least frequented or something of that sort. I don't think that this is he just ran into this apartment complex at random. I really don't think that it's still possible, but I just don't see it. Because how would they be able to find him like that fast? I feel like he went back home, y'all. And then of course they're saying that there was some sort of standoff. Okay, at least that's what one eyewitness says. Maybe there really wasn't a standoff. We'll see about that. But nonetheless, this assailant, Bruce Reginald Foster III, has been arrested, has been detained, and hopefully without any other types of casualties or any types of injuries to any other people. That's what I'm hoping for. But again, this is just the information that we have right now. And it's crazy, guys. Elizabeth, thank you so much for being a member for the past 9 months. I appreciate it. Glad I found this channel. Well, I'm glad you found this channel too. Thank you so much for your support. And thank you so much for the super sticker as well. Thank you so very much. Carbonized, thank you so much for the love. The new age criminal does crime, calls an Uber. Yeah. What a world. Yeah. Ain't that weird? What a world we're living in, by the way. Hey, don't think I don't see you haven't hit that like button. Yes, make sure you hit that like button down below, guys. Okay, don't make me put on my snow pants on. Crush it. Okay, make sure you hit that like button down below, please and thank you. But this is some crazy stuff, guys, and of course it's still developing. There's going to be more information here very, very soon. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to hop off here. But if there's any new updates, I'll make sure to give you guys those updates here very, very soon. Okay. So again, guys, pretty crazy to think that this guy ran back home. What's even crazier is he did this and then he took an Uber home. Yeah. So while all this imagine that he's like, hey, the Uber driver's like, you Bruce? And he's like, yeah. And then he's like, come on in. I got some bottled water. I got some mints, anything you need. And he's like, I'm fine. And in the background, there's chaos going on. Real talk, as this Uber's driving away. How's your day been? Oh, yeah. Quite a night. Craziness going on in the warehouse behind him, by the way. Ain't that insane? That's insane. And then he took that Uber back home. My assumption. That's insane. This is the reason why they were able to get him so quickly. Real talk. They were able to get him this quickly because they went to his old residence. That's the thing. They went to an old address. They went to the wrong home, an old address. Then they went to his next address. And I'm assuming it was that one. That's why they were able to get him so quickly. But still insane, y'all. Absolutely insane. We live in a crazy, crazy world. These are some crazy times. Anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Seriously, it means a lot that you guys are all here checking it out on all these different platforms and all that. It really does mean the world to me, okay? But please do me a favor before we head out. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms, please, and thank you. Do not forget to hit that follow button if you're watching on Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble. Show some love. Subscribe, follow, etc. Don't forget to subscribe here on my main channel. Go to my secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips, because there's a lot of things I'm covering over there that I'm not talking about or covering over here. So make sure you are subscribed to both. Turn on those notification bells so you know when I go live, whenever I upload, you are there, because a lot of times it's breaking news and it's random. All right? So make sure you do all of that. Hit that join button down below, become a member, check out my Patreon and check out my locals. And of course, do not forget to check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. Go check it out. Consume it with your eyeballs. Buy yourself a hoodie. Buy yourself a shirt. I'm sure you're going to find something you're going to love over there. Okay, guys. Anyway, it's time to get going. I'll see you guys very, very soon, though. We got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of other things we got to talk about. And there's going to be more breaking news as far as Diddy and then some very, very soon. So be on the lookout for it, okay? But it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. We'll talk soon. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.